All right, this is how I'm going to approach the yucca. We already know 75 grams of potassium nitrate is not enough to consume cleanly 15 grams of willow. Based on the fact that the willow and the yucca are close to specific gravity, this is a little heavier. I'm going to make the assumption that 75 grams of potassium nitrate is not going to be enough to cleanly consume the yucca. Now, my notes have showed that 15 grams of cherry at approximately 0.50, 75 grams of potassium nitrate is more than enough to consume this, and it consumes it very cleanly, just like the Osage orange. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to refer to the U.S. military manual in this regard. The U.S. military manual on making gunpowder in the jungle. The recipe I have right here is 3 cups potassium nitrate, 2 cups of wood charcoal powdered. Now the thing is they don't tell you what the specific gravity is. And we can see there is a clear difference in specific gravity. The U.S. military manual is not concerned with producing clean burning gunpowder. They just want gunpowder. Okay, I'm going to move this back over to here. I'm going to move the yucca back into the frame. And then, of course, the sulfur, a half a cup. Now, when I first referred to this manual, talking about 3 cups of potassium nitrate, 2 cups of wood charcoal, somebody left a comment, which I appreciate greatly, that a cup of potassium nitrate weighs whatever that number was, which is fine. But if you're in the jungle and you have a scale to weigh out your potassium nitrate in wood, then you don't need to measure this in cups. Because the comment that I made is that if you got 3 cups of potassium nitrate and 2 cups of your charcoal, what does that do to your 75, 15, 10? See? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach it like this. So there's a different way of looking at this. Potassium nitrate is about maybe 1 3/8 inches in height. The cherry is probably about 7/8. And right now I've got the yucca down to about 1 inch. Instead of doing it by weight, I'm now doing it by volume. So here we are with the 10-hour burn test. Wow! I'm not even impressed with this. But let me show you the block close up and you can see just how dirty this is gonna be. At this point at least. It needs some more milling time. Look how dirty that is. That's all little chunks of potassium nitrate. It's not mixed near enough to call this a good source for gunpowder. There's just no point. And get rid of all of those little chunks of potassium nitrate that remained on top, and just looking at that, you can see it's dirty. Alrighty, we'll try this again. Pardon me, hold on. Just to be consistent. Dry rub. Yeah, that's not bad at all. The wet rub. Yeah, I'd say, it's fairly clean for just a wet rub. I mean, I've seen it darker, but so far I'm not impressed with this, but I'm going to keep at it. Stay tuned. So reflecting back on what I had done with this particular recipe, matching the volume of the yucca to the volume of the cherry. Now this is 15 grams of cherry. What I did is I went ahead and put some yucca in this jar and got as close to this level as I could, and I weighed that, and that actually weighed 6.7 grams. Okay, now if you look at it right here, you can now see that I am above the level of the cherry, because as I mentioned, I was going to add 2 more grams. So I added 2 more grams to this volume, which now is 8.7 grams. But as you can see, based on what I had stated previously, that was how much yucca I was going to use in this experiment. Now you can see that I'm getting close to the level of the potassium nitrate. But again, this is just volume. This is not being done by weight. It's being done by volume. I'll put the cherry back in there, and we can kind of observe what's going on here. So at the 20-hour mark, I'm going to go ahead and pull some more powder out and do another burn test, and we'll see if it burns a little quicker, and if not, a little cleaner. So here's the 20-hour burn test. Still burnt very slow, and the block is still pretty dirty.